What's up everybody, I'm quickly interrupting ahead of this video. Welcome to the channel of course, but quickly wanted to shout out the Signal group we have, which is a group in which I share all of my trades. For example, also this maker trade that we took over the course of this week. But we also, for example, bought Bitcoin at 101,000, which hopefully it's still trading higher at this point of time, but it went to 107,000. But I also released a new trading guide in which I fully explain one of the main strategies that I use to trade. So not only will you get profitable signals, you're also able to learn how to become a profitable trader yourself. So if you want to join, that sounds interesting, links will be down in the description. For now, enjoy the video. Bye. Good afternoon everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video right here on the crypto markets today. There's a lot going on, there's a lot to talk about, so I'll try to cover everything I think you need to know for today. But I think the most important things you need to know for today are the fundamentals. Then we'll talk about Bitcoin a little bit, we'll talk about Ethereum, we'll talk about XRP. I'm not certain whether we are going to talk about altcoins. Most altcoins are luckily a little bit stronger than Bitcoin, but most are still moving together with Bitcoin. And there's no coins that, instantly point out to me that they're incredibly strong, or that I would say that they can rally outside of the coins that we have already spoken about in the last two, three videos, right? Last three days. Where, just to speak a little bit upon altcoins here at the start. First of all, this was expected. It was definitely a possibility that others would retest this level at $250 billion, which it has done, and we have also bounced from there. And then outside of that, I would still say that Ethereum Beta and Ethereum ecosystem projects are the most interesting altcoins, right? So then we're talking about Athena, we're talking about Aave, we're talking about Uniswap, etc. So now onto the fundamentals, which I think is most important. So there's a lot going on, right? I can grab a news feed right here from Data One, from Walter Bloomberg. There's almost too much going on that I can say, right? But there's quite a lot regarding Iran and the United States and Israel. Then we also still have some Ukraine, Russia, but in this case Russia specific unrest, and that's all reflected in the fundamentals, right? If I go to my stocks page right here and we take a look at the volatility index, we can see that opened higher over the course of today. We can see that gold is trying to break out. We can see that oil is trading higher right here, which is pretty major, to be fair, oil prices. So based on all of that, stock markets are actually still pretty good here. And we're going to be very reactive to news. So if we get some sort of a de-escalation, which by the way, I wonder if we actually missed some sort of de-escalation because of the strength we're seeing. But if we see some sort of a de-escalation, we can easily bounce back up as well, because we should not forget that the last week has been primarily bullish for crypto, right? So now we're being pushed down, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to continue. And ultimately, it still is a fundamentals market. So if we actually do see some sort of de-escalation, that will instantly make the markets better. And I would also say that yes, there is more unrest than yesterday, but the unrest at this point of time is also not that major that I would expect a major crash. At this point of time, if we're talking about Bitcoin, and if we're going to be talking about Bitcoin here, specifically, Bitcoin is still moving as expected. I told you yesterday with the inflation rate data and all the news coming in, that I thought it was unlikely that we were going to break out and that we were back in the same balance as we were right here at the end of May. And we're still in that balance right here. You can see back then we also dropped down to this level at 107,000, and we respected that. Now, therefore, it is absolutely crucial that we will continue to respect 106,800 as support. If we fail to hold that, and we also see fundamentally that unrest is increasing, right? So that the volatility index is going up or gold is breaking out, then that's bad news. And I do think you need to know that, and I do think you need to be prepared for that. But as long as 106,800 is holding, as long as there's no major escalation we can see with gold breaking out, which it's trying to do right now, but it hasn't yet, or the volatility index rising up much higher, which it has opened higher, but it's not rallying. As long as the situation stays like this and we don't see escalation, I think it's most likely that that we are going to be able to hold this range right here for Bitcoin, and that therefore most altcoins will remain stable together with it. But this scenario and this balance, this stability for Bitcoin is hanging on by a thread, right? If there's some sort of escalation we can easily break down. And then the main support level would be that level at 104.5, 103.5. But for now, given the fact that we are still holding this, I will say the same as what I said yesterday. And that is that I think stability is still most likely. Stability between 110.5 and 106.8. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin. And like I said, most altcoins are very correlated and we'll just move together with it. Ethereum is still looking slightly better, which feels very strange to say. But Ethereum is still very much holding its most important support levels. As long as Ethereum is holding 2660 as support, I think we're going for 3100s and 3000 and balance around that. So at this point of time, I also still think that's most likely, but that's also contingent and dependent on no further, or at least no major escalation in all of these fundamental factors influencing the markets. And then XRP is looking a little bit weaker. XRP unfortunately broke down below 2.26. I would say it's a little more likely for XRP, which is lacking the momentum that Bitcoin and Ethereum have. I would say it's a little bit more likely to remain stable right here. And only if we see real de-escalation, XRP will be able to reclaim 2.27, 2.28 and get some stability higher. But I would say stability down here for now is its most likely scenario. But that's it for now. Yeah, like I said, I mean, there are some coins that are gaining some momentum, but nothing really noteworthy to be talking about. And I'm going to say this once more, but it really is a fundamentals market, right? So keep your eyes on that. There's this amazing channel on X that I think you need to follow. That's this. If you type in Walter Bloomberg, you'll find it, but it's at Deta1. So yeah, follow that, and there you'll find, some sort of a feed of everything that's going on. It's not perfect, but still it's great. And that's what I think you need to know for now. So hopefully it helps. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.